that gives us the potential to not only grow the resource and as far as tonnage goes, but also potentially deliver a higher grade resource on an updated resource estimate that we're working on right now.
Hello, I'm Tim Johnson, CEO of Granite Creek Copper. We're here at the CARMACKS project, and we're looking at hole 11 from the 2021 resource expansion drilling. And here with Jacob Longridge, project geologist. And the company just released results on this hole, and we're just going to talk about the significance of it and some of the really high-grade rock that we intercepted in that hole. How are you doing today, Jake?
I'm doing good, Tim. Thanks for asking.
This is a pretty exciting hole. So what can you tell us about the mineralization that we discovered down here?
That's a massive chalcopyrite that's hosted within the amphibolite raft. So we're drilling 2000 south. We're drilling below the inferred resource. 2000 south is around a 300-meter long raft that's sitting within the Granite Mountain batholith. What's significant about this drill hole is that we're drilling 50 meters below the inferred resource of 2000 south. The inferred resource of 2000 south was around 636,000 tons of 0.7% copper. And we were testing the down dip continuation of that. What's so exciting about this is we hit a significant intercept, and yeah, it's below the inferred resource. So
right.
It's got us excited to do more drilling.
So even though this section was fairly narrow, what I think about half a meter of the really spectacular stuff, we still have other material in the section that looks almost as good. In fact, there's several sections over 2% copper.
This is quite exciting. Like you've said, it's a narrow intercept. Our minimum sample width is 50 centimeters. And so we got the semi-massive chalcopyrite and we assayed it, and it hit the upper detection limit. So it's greater than 10 weight percent copper. And so at the moment we're getting the lab to reassay the upper limits to just see how much copper is in that zone.
So you've got the dual high-grade section, and then you've got well-mineralized rock on either side of that for quite a well-mineralized zone.
Yes, exactly. It's not just one high-grade pocket that we're extrapolating and diluting down. We're seeing that the copper is disseminated throughout the zone, and we are getting high-grade pockets within it.
I guess there's a good possibility that this hole will actually expand that resource there.
Oh yes, with the grades and the widths that we're seeing here, it seems that that's highly probable.
So impressed by the work that the crew has done here this year, and to be able to expand the resource and to bring about a few more drill holes this season as we look to see how big we can actually make that resource in this season. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you all enjoyed the news release. I look for more updates from Granite Creek Copper.
Joining us for a conversation is Tim Johnson, the CEO of Granite Creek Copper. Mr. Johnson, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Maurice. It's always a pleasure to be here.
What an exciting time to have you on the program, as Granite Creek Copper has just released some very exciting results to the market, which look to further extend the resource at the high-grade Carmacks Copper-Gold project. Before we begin, Mr. Johnson, please introduce us to Granite Creek Copper and the opportunity the company presents to shareholders.
Yeah, thank you. So Granite Creek Copper is an exploration stage copper-focused company. We're focused on our CARMACKS project in the center of the Yukon, Canada. We have good road access. We've got good access to power. We're in a great jurisdiction for development, and we're very pleased with the news results we put out a couple of days ago. And I'm really appreciative of this opportunity to talk about them and put them into context for your listeners.
Well, likewise, sir, we're honored to have you on the program, because this truly is some eye-opening news you have here for us. Now, back in November, Granite Creek Copper began its inaugural drill campaign, which was quite successful, yielding 127 meters of 0.85% copper equivalent at CARMACKS Zone 13 and 4.6 meters of 7.5% copper equivalent at CARMACKS North Zone A, which was followed up in May with phase 1 of 3 drill programs slated for 2021. Now, in July, Granite Creek released the first string of assay results from phase 1, and the results were quite impressive. And just the other day, the company released a single hole, hole 11, which has some spectacular results, and it would seem that there will be much more blue sky on the horizon on the CARMACKS deposit. Mr. Johnson, I have Table 1 from the press release before us. Please walk us through the assay results, and in particular, Hole 11.
Well, yeah, hole 11 was a bit of an eye-opener for us. It was targeted in zone 2000 south. And when we went into the campaign, we knew that there was some significant potential to grow resources in 2000 south, and this hole really delivered. So hole 11, along with a few other holes drilled in the 2000 south zone, all intercepted mineralization well below the current resource model. So giving us the potential to significantly expand that resource. And we're pretty pleased. We think not only can we expand the resource, but if you notice that looking at the resource table in the news release, that just about all the intercepts are of higher grade than what's in the table. So that gives us the potential to not only grow the resource and as far as tonnage goes, but also potentially deliver a higher grade resource on an updated resource estimate that we're working on right now.
Yeah, and give us those numbers on hole 11, sir.
Well, hole 11 intercepted 105 meters of just over 1% copper on an equivalent basis and about 0.97% copper on its own. And within that, there was 22 meters of over 2% copper. So those grades are pretty spectacular, and we think again that's gonna make a significant upgrade to the resource once we are able to complete a few more holes and model that. And we don't think this is the one-off hole. We think from the geophysics and what we're seeing that we will be able to expand the resource in a much higher grade. Of course, we've got some more drilling to do to be able to deliver that, but we're pretty bullish about that. We've refocused our phase 3 program, which we expect to start in a week or two to target that area of 2000 south, and also to see if we can connect that 2000 south up to some of the other zones at CARMACKS to make a more continuous ore body.
Now, sticking with zone 2000 south, I have table 2 before us. What do these results seem to indicate?
Yeah, so table 2 is a resource calculation done by previous operators. This was published in 2017, and you can see it's quite a small resource, about 600,000 tons in the sulfide domain, which your viewers should know that the sulfide domain is what we're targeting. The oxide, there is limited oxide in 2000 south, and I think this is one of the reasons why this target is still here. Because previous operators, again, they were more focused on a small oxide operation. So they weren't really targeting the sulfide, but we see the real potential here to be the sulfide. This hole seems to verify that. And again, the grade is of that this hole is above what the grade of the resource, the current resource is. So good delivery on a couple fronts, both potential tonnage increase and potential grade increase.
And I do wish to highlight the geological acumen of Granite Creek Copper, as there was, I believe, 50,000 meters of drilling in the past, and they were not able to locate the success that you have here on hole 11. What does that say about the company and the success of Granite Creek moving forward?
Yeah, so there's a couple reasons for that. Like I alluded to before, the previous operators, and there was nothing wrong with this. They felt they had an economic resource in the oxide. The oxide is fairly near surface, so there was a lot of drilling done to prove up that resource, but there was very little drilling done to expand the resource into the sulfide material or to look for adjacent potential like we have at CARMACKS North. Previous operators had quite a small land package for various reasons. They had to let some go in some of the tougher times in the industry. And we were benefited by that, by having that land package available for us when we acquired it, and then subsequently acquired Copper North, of course, to consolidate the district. So yeah, you're right. I mean, there's 50,000 meters being drilled, but a lot of it, like I said, was very near surface, oxide focused, and left us the opportunity to come in and recognize the potential for significant expansion beneath the oxide into the sulfide, and really not that deep. The transition zone from oxide to sulfide occurs about 200 meters plus or minus below surface, so still well within sort of an economic mining range, and really a lot of blue sky left and a lot of discovery potential on the combined land package.
In previous interviews, we've discussed resource expansion. How does today's press release increase the impact on the pending 43101 mineral resource estimate?
It significantly impacts it. If you look at the news release, you'll see we've shown on section where this drill hole fits in relation to the current resource. And the entirety of the 105 meters of significant mineralization is below the current resource, so giving us up to 100, maybe 120 meters of down dip extension on that resource. Now, we do need to infill around it. You can't build a resource on a single hole, but some of the other holes that we've had that we released in July also support that down dip extension of the resource. So we see significant growth potential here in this zone. We did drill again this year on zone 13. We're still waiting for those assays, but we see potential to grow in 13 as well. We also see potential to grow in the sulfide portion of zone 1, which some of those assays were also released in our first release in July. So basically 3 zones that we have resource growth potential. And we're working on modeling those right now. We're working with a third party to bring that resource into view, and we hope to be able to deliver that to the market in a fairly timely manner.
I referenced that Granite Creek will embark on 3 drill programs this year. When can shareholders expect the remaining results from phase 1?
That's a really tough question to answer. As we move into the fall, the labs get busier and busier. So it's really hard for me to nail down, but we would expect hopefully by late September to early October, we'd have final results on phase 1. The phase 2 program currently going on is an RC, or reverse circulation program. It's targeting some of the earlier stage targets at both at Carmacks North, which is a northern extension of our land package, and some of the earlier stage targets around the Carmacks deposit itself. And then the phase 3 program, which is now being sort of reimagined in and around 2000 South, will be starting in the coming weeks. And then, that should give us fairly good assay flow and be able to continue to deliver results to the market as we move through the fall and into the winter months.
And by the way, is phase 3, is that an RC or is that diamond core, sir?
Phase 3 is a diamond program. So basically what we did this year, we budgeted for 10,000 meters. We completed 6,300 meters in the initial program, and we kept back some meterage to get the results in and to understand the geology, the orientation of the deposits. And now that those results are coming in, like I said, we're refocusing our efforts to build out where we had the best results and try to get increase the tonnage and increase the grade in the zones that we think are going to make the most difference to the resource.
When we last spoke, Granite Creek Copper announced that it had entered into a contract with Sedgman and Mining Plus. What are the latest developments there?
We're working forward with Sedgman and Mining Plus. One of the big reasons we brought them in, there's actually twofold. One of the reasons we brought them in was to optimize the process for both the oxide and sulfide processing that was initially developed in the 2017 PEA, and then also to develop a mine plan that would bring the sulfide in as well. The previous PEA only spoke to the oxide resource. It contemplated about a 7-year mine life. We saw at least double that in the sulfide resource, but there was no mine plan for it. So Sedgman and Mining Plus are working very hard to bring that into view. And what's going to happen, we'll take that information and that will inform our next economic study to be done on the project. We will look at updating the preliminary economic assessment once we have all the results in. both from the work that Sedgman and Mining Plus are doing, and of course with an updated resource that is being currently worked on, so to bring both the tonnage and the mine plan and the processing plan all into one economic study.
Leaving the CARMACKS project, sir, please provide us with an update on the capital structure for Granite Creek Copper.
Yeah, Granite Creek Copper's got 127 million shares issued and outstanding. We've got warrants that are right at the strike price of the warrants, about $4.8 million in cash value of those warrants, with a strike price of 20 cents. We see strength in the market moving into the fall, and we expect those warrants to assist the company in continuing on with our economic studies and upcoming programs, meaning that we won't be looking to do a dilutive financing in the near term. We expect strength in the copper market hopefully will allow us to delay any large financing for a while.
Before we close, Mr. Johnson, what would you like to say to shareholders?
I think the copper space is an excellent space for speculative shareholders to be looking. We think that the copper market is going to have strength moving through the remainder of this year and into next year. We've got an excellent project with excellent exposure to copper and to precious metals as well, in a very good jurisdiction, and I think it's worth adding Granite Creek Copper to your watch list and making sure you follow along with our story.
Last question, sir. What did I forget to ask?
Well, as usual, Maurice, you did an excellent job. I think the questions you asked are very good. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Johnson, for someone listening that wants to get more information on Granite Creek Copper, please share the contact details.
Yeah, you can find us at www.gcxcopper.com.
Mr. Johnson, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Wishing you and Granite Creek Copper the absolute best, sir.
Thank you very much.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.